I cyber-stalked him Twitter yesterday. So how's your allergy going?
It's okay. I'm okay.
He's currently working on that project, an open source project that provides a streaming interface between every file formats and data storage backend.
那现在 Max 会探讨如何使用 Node 模组与 Browserify 来共享浏览器与伺服器间的编码。Browserify 能让使用者在浏览器的 NPM 登录档上使用将近10万种模组。现在还会示范基础与进阶的范例。
Today, he will talk about how to share code between browser and server using the Node module and Browserify. Browserify lets users use many of the almost 100,000 modules on the NPM registry in the browser. This talk will show both basic and advanced examples. 那我们给Max 一起热烈的掌声。
Thank you very much. I'm going to show many links. If you want to follow along, go to here to GitHub, gists, and go to Maxwell Ogden. And it looks like this. It is all the links I will show so that you can click on them. So, my name is Max Ogden. Thank you for the introduction. I am visiting from Oakland, California. And I write Node.js a lot and ride bicycles. I love cats and coffee and open source. Anyone like cats also? Can you see a show? Alright, good. I love cats too. I wrote a guide called JavaScript for Cats. I authored this, and it is a tutorial to teach JavaScript to your cat. And it gives you all the basics of JavaScript. And if you do it, send me a photo of your cat learning JavaScript, and I'll put it on the webpage. All these cats are learning JavaScript here. And I also wrote a guide to Node.js called The Art of Node. And it is a tutorial on learning Node.js. And here's me with the cat. I love cats a lot. Alright, so my talk is about Browserify. And Browserify is something that lets you use require from Node.js, but to make browser applications. So it's open source, and it has this website, browserify.org. And the main idea with Browserify is that you take Node modules and you package them together, and then you can make client-side applications with them. So on the Browserify website, you get installation instructions on how to install Browserify. And most people run Browserify on the command line. So you type Browserify and you get the Browserify commands. And there's hello world, so you can take this code, this JavaScript code. So if I hello.js, put the code in, and then I type Browserify hello.js. I need the module, so I can npm install unique. That'll go and fetch it from the npm registry. So if you go to npmjs.org/unique, this is this module that will get, it takes arrays and it gives you a unique version of the array, so you get it removes duplicates and turns them into one per item. So this code uses require, and normally browsers don't have require. This is usual that like browsers don't have a require keyword. It's only Node.js has require. If you go into Node and you say require, it is there, but in the browser you don't have a require statement. So instead, I can't npm install here, but the idea with Browserify is it takes the require and puts it into the browser, and then you can run the code there. So the idea of Browserify is JavaScript should run anywhere, and it should be the same source code. So if you have code that's just JavaScript, it should run in Node, it should run in a browser, in Windows, Node on Windows, Internet Explorer, Chrome, Firefox, also on hardware. There's devices now like the Tessel. Tessel is a new, it's kind of like an Arduino, but it runs JavaScript. And you can run Node.js directly on the Tessel. And there are other ones. Spark.io is also the Spark core, runs JavaScript. So you can write a module once and use it in multiple places. Since it's just JavaScript and there are JavaScript engines everywhere, the idea of Browserify is move all required into the browser so you can share your modules between all environments. And when you look at what the browser can do, the browser has the DOM, which is, everyone knows the DOM, all this stuff. And Node.js has UDP and TCP. And if you go to the Node.js documentation, there are things like the net library in Node.js net, and that's for making TCP sockets. So you can create a TCP server in Node.js, but in the browser you're not allowed. It's forbidden to make TCP connections and UDP connections. So in Node.js you can do UDP, TCP, in the browser you get the DOM, but everything else, almost everything else you can do in both places. So most programs can work in Node or the browser because JavaScript is the same in Node and the browser. So Browserify loves the NPM registry. Instead of having, there is no Browserify registry, you just use NPM instead. And that way you put all of your code in the same place. So you don't have to have a client-side registry and a separate server-side registry. It's just one registry, and everything shares. You can share between the client and the server without having to separate them out into two separate places. And so yeah, they're in the same place. So to learn Browserify, the best resource is the Browserify handbook. And the Browserify handbook is this repository. Substack wrote it, and it is a tutorial. So it has everything you need to know about Browserify. It's a really long tutorial. It gives you examples. You can take the examples and copy paste and run them. This is a really good guide to Browserify if you want to learn it. There's also a Browserify adventure. And do I have the Browserify? No, I don't have Browserify Adventure. So Browserify Adventure is command line, and it's a Node School workshop. So you run npm install Browserify Adventure, and you also npm install Browserify, and then you go through an interactive tutorial. And the Browserify Adventure gives you challenges, and you have to complete the challenges. Browserify Adventure is listed on the Node School webpage. So Node School is open source school for learning Node.js online. And you can see we have lots of meetups around the world. They're free. And we also have a list of workshops. So the idea with Node School is you npm install the workshop and then you run the workshop. So for Learning Node, for instance, I have Learning Node installed already. I did npm install Learning Node, but I already did that. So once you have it installed, it gives you this menu system, and you can select a challenge, and it will give you a challenge to complete. So it says, write a program that takes in numbers and adds them together. And then it gives you some hints, and then you run your program and you verify it on the command line. So if I did Learning Node Hello World, I have to write a program that prints Hello World to the console. So I will make a program called hello.js again, and I will say console log hello world. And then if I run Learning Node verify hello.js, then it tells me mine was lowercase, but it should have been uppercase. So I'll fix it. Hello world. And then I run it again, and this time I passed. So they matched, and I passed, which is good. And then it gives me the solution, and I can go here, and it says completed, because I completed it, and I can go on to the next one. So most Node School workshops work like this. You can do them on the command line on your own. And Browserify Adventure is one of these for Browserify. So you should check out Browserify Adventure, it's really fun. And there are many other workshops as well. We have a big list, so many workshops. So you can learn things like Git and GitHub, written by Jessica. She'll be talking about it later. And you can learn Node.js streams, streaming data with Stream Adventure. And we also have lots of other things, LevelDB, Express, Browserify, WebGL, Promises, all sorts of stuff. And they're all free. You can run them in the terminal. And also, at the Node.js party in Taipei the other night, we set up a new Node School Taiwan chapter. And it's very new. They'll be doing events in the future. So you can go and watch this repository, just github/nodeschool/Taiwan, and go to a Node School event, probably in Taipei or other cities. And Browserify has a very active community. So this is on the wiki. There's a list of Browserify transforms. And transforms are plugins for Browserify that make it support different things. So there's a huge list, many plugins that you can use. There are things like compiling less style sheets automatically. You can use JSX from React in Browserify. You can do all sorts of stuff. There's just a ton of plugins. And so if you want to know how Browserify supports different things, you can go and see if there's a transform for it. And all of these are different node modules on NPM. So for instance, this transform called BRFS is its own repository, and it's also on NPM. All Browserify transforms are standalone modules. So, for example, let me go back to my slides. So, the Browserify transforms, one really cool one is BRFS, and I can show you the way BRFS works. If I want to Browserify, go back to my hello.js, and I will require the fs module from Node, and then I will say var data equals fs.read file sync, and I'll just read myself into the program, and then console log the data. So I just read a file, and then console log the file. So if I run that, then it just prints its own program out. It'll print its own source code, because it reads the hello.js file and console logs it. But browsers don't have FS normally, but that's where BRFS comes in. So you can instead, if I run Browserify hello.js, it converts my program into this program, which I can run in the browser. But when it runs in the browser, this won't work. So if I copy this into my clipboard and I run it in here, then see, it doesn't work, I get an error. So instead, I can pass in the transform. So I say transform BRFS, and then this time, what happens is it has replaced. So let me show you the two copies. This is the before it had var data equals fs3 file sync, but with BRFS it has said var data equals, and it put it in line here. So it replaced in the source code the actual contents of the file I was reading. So now I can take this output and copy it to the clipboard. And when I run this in here, then it prints out successfully. So if you didn't get that, look at BRFS look at the README and play around with BRFS. But it's a really cool way, a good example of the Browserify transform. And there's also a tool that I made called Packify, which is similar. So you can have, if I go into that editor, so I have this index.html page, and it has a style sheet linked, and it has, or 3 style sheets, and it has an image. Here, there's an image tag that is to dat.png, and I also have an app.js from a script tag. So if I load this, like, an HTTP server, and then open it up, then inside of the network, it makes many HTTP requests. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 HTTP requests. But if I want to pack it all together into one file, you can say packify index.html, and it automatically inlines everything. So I'll say save to pack.html. And so now if I run HTTP server and open up /pack.html, so now it's only one HTTP request, and everything else is inlined. So the source code, instead of having in the original version, I had the link with the style sheet link external. Now in this version, I have the style sheet inline. And also inside of the CSS, it has images. So the images have been inlined as well as data URIs. And then also at the image tag, the image tags in HTML have been inlined as data URIs. And then the script tag has also been browserified and inlined. And also the BRFS is in here. So I look at the app, and you can see this is loading mustache templates into the application, but it uses fs.read file sync, which doesn't work in the browser normally. But when it runs through BRFS, it turns into this. It turns into the actual data inline in the source code. So that way you can load your templates into Browserify applications using BRFS. So that's how Packify works. And there's lots of many tools for Browserify to compile applications, to use templates, style sheets, and I'll show some more later. The DAT editor is the application that I showed off, and it is its own GitHub repository that is a single page app that is like a database admin console. And all of these things that you use with Browserify, I mentioned you get from NPM. So I wanted to show a little bit how modules have worked. So npm.js.org, you can go to / the name of any module. So I've showed you, many modules on npm. For instance, you can go to /brfs. But if you go to / tilde, this thing, and then username. So like if I went to JLord's npm page, you see all the packages for a user. I can go to Substack and see all the Substack packages. I get all of my packages. And I have a lot of packages on npm. The way you install them is you make a new module. So if I go into my directory where I make modules, and I make a new module called hello JSDC, I go into there, and you can say npm initialize, npm init, and it asks you for some information, say 1.0, hello world module for JSDC, and then it creates this for you automatically, and you say yes. So now I have a directory with a package.json file, and I can actually just npm publish this. I have to make a file first. So I'll make index.js is the default. And you can say module.exports equals hello. And what that does is it lets you go into Node.js and type require hello JSDC, and it will get back hello. Because the require looks for index.js, looks for module exports, and it takes the value and returns it. So now I can npm publish, and it will put it on npm. So you can go to npm/hello JSDC, and I have a module there. So it's really very easy to publish to npm. There are no rules. You can do it in 1 minute. And then other people can make, so if I want to make a new module, so I'll say like hello world app, and I go into there, and I do the same thing, and I make a new package.json. Then I have a new folder with its own package.json, But now I'll say npm install --save hello JSDC, and it goes to npm and installs it into this directory. So it made the node modules directory, I made the hello JSDC folder, and it put a copy of hello JSDC in here, so that in my application, I can say var hello equals require hello JSDC, and then console log hello. And when I run this application, it just prints out hello, because I required it and it has been installed. And the npm install --save, the --save automatically adds it to your dependencies. So it puts it in your dependencies for you, so you don't have to manually type it in. And I can also browserify my application, and it will create me this, which I can put in a script tag. Oops. So I can say copy it to my clipboard, and then run this application in a browser, and it prints hello. So Browserify just packages it into this one, this script here, and you can run that in the browser directly. So that way, everything you use in Browserify, you can either use with Node, and it works in Node, or you run with Browserify, and you run it in browser, and it works in browser. And modules are really easy to make, so the cool thing about Browserify is that you can put any module up on NPM. The module does not have to be for Node.js, it can be a browser-only module. So NPM is for anything, that's why there's so many modules on NPM, there's like 100,000 modules. So let me go back slides. Good modules, this is kind of hard to read. Good elements of a good module. Modules should be simple, simplicity, small modules are good. CI, like Travis CI or AppVeyor. AppVeyor is a Windows CI service. So they're like Travis CI. Travis runs your tests every time you push to GitHub. And AppVeyor runs your tests on Windows. Travis runs them on Linux. And you can put little badges in your readmes. And it should be easy to install. So modules should just have npm install, and then they should get installed. And have simple README files. Easy to read READMEs with documentation and all your badges. These are what the good badges look like. So there's, this badge comes from Node.io, node.co, and they generate badges for npm. So I can even generate a badge for hello JSDC, and it will generate a badge for me, for my module. It says 3 minutes old, and I can put this badge in my README of my program, so I could go to hello JSDC and make a new file, readme.md, and say hello JSDC, hello world module, and then put the badge in Markdown. And then when I view it with Markdown, it looks like this. So then it shows up as a badge in my README. And you can also put Travis badges in the README. This is an example of a README with 1, 2, 3, 4 badges. Badges are good, and tests are good. And this is a Testling CI badge, which is a Substack service for testing browser modules. So you hook it up to GitHub, and it runs your tests in all these browsers, and generates if they passed or failed as a badge, and you put the badge in your README. So this is a module that passes in all these browsers, and it tests it all the time. And he also has other badges up here. So this is a really good module. So I want to show examples of applications built with Browserify. So this is an application I made, and it's called BlockPlot. It's like Minecraft. I wrote this library last year, and it's for making Minecraft in JavaScript. And I made BlockPlot is an application that uses Browserify. So the blockplot code base is looks like this. So it requires modules. Users require. I require the LevelDB database, which is a database that works in Node.js or in browsers. And I also do jQuery. So together I have require and jQuery on the same thing. So this runs in the browser, but I use Browserify to package it. And this is a WebGL application. And so I have my application split up into main.js, common.js, has some utilities in it. I have voxel.js, which has the video game rendering. World.js is the database like controller. So I have the application split across many files, but because they're all required, you can also require other files. So this requires voxel.js. Even though it's 10 files, in the application it's just one file. So if I open up blockplot, it looks like this. It's kind of a small screen right now, but the application is just a single bundle file. So I get this bundle is all of the dependencies that have been browserified. And you can see in the development server, it's running Browserify on my main.js file and then serving it. So the application is 500 kilobytes and lots of modules and WebGL. But I'll show you the application. I actually have prepared a world in blockplot. So we'll see if it works. So I wrote code that converted Minecraft to voxel.js, and I converted the Taipei 101 tower into voxel.js. And also I have, where's my comments? I have comments with a special, here it is. So if I paste this in, so it's me in there. So now hopefully, so there's me in front of the Taipei tower. And I'm walking around in the air, flying. And it's pretty tall. And I can even, here, let me refresh really quick. Reset the camera. So I'll go inside the tower. Here we go. So you can, it's fully editable. So you can make holes, and go inside, and I can make my own elevator. Second wall. So I made my own elevator shaft. And then also, it stores data. If I refresh the page, then it has stored my edits in the database. So it remembers the holds that I made, they're there, persistent. So the database is in the browser, and it's called index.tw. It's an HTML5 database, and every time I edit the data, it updates the data here. So it compresses the data, stores it in index.tw. So this Minecraft map is actually stored in my browser. And if you create a new Minecraft map, load a world, create tests, then you can also import, a file from Minecraft directly. So you can import any Minecraft data, but you can also play the demo world, and it imports, converts Minecraft into voxel.js in the browser. So this application is made using Browserify and voxel.js. And so this is all of the modules that are used to store the world. So there's lots of small modules, and Browserify combines them all into the application and serves it. So without Browserify, I wouldn't be able to use as many modules as I use here. And also Browserify does things like you can use zlib compression, you can do XHR, use LevelDB database on top of index.db. So it's super useful. I don't need to show that anymore. So blockplot, you can also play blockplot at just blockplot.com and test it out. I think it only is Chrome. It only works in Chrome right now because of some bugs. But it's just for fun application. So I also made a tool called RequireBin that lets you load modules into the browser, kind of like JS Fiddle or JS Bin, but for NPM and Browserify. So this is a module called cat picture. And this comes from NPM directly, so you can go to npm/catpicture, and it's a module I made. And all it does is you require the cat picture, and then it makes the cat picture show up. So you can, that's what it does here. You can also do lots of other things with RequireBin. So you can say var unique equals require unique, and then say console log unique 1, 2, 2, 3. And then if I run this, then it'll go and fetch unique module, and it runs it here, and it has unique to my array, so they removed all the 2s. And this module came from NPM, so you can play with NPM in the browser at requirebin.com. And I'll show more examples of RequireBin stuff. RequireBin uses this service, which is an API, a web API on Browserify. So you can do stuff like this. You can say wizard.in/standalone/module name from NPM and version number. So this will run Browserify and return it over HTTP. So you could do something, like script src equals, and embed it in your application without having to run Browserify yourself. So this is just a server that runs Browserify for you. So when you actually go to RequireBin and you require a new module, let me show DevTools. So if I said require hello JSDC, and I'll say console log require hello JSDC, then what it'll do is it actually goes to wizard.in, and it sent it the dependencies that it needs. So it said, give me hello JSDC at latest. And then the server responds with the Browserify output. So you get the Browserify bundle from wizard.in. And then this application just runs it, so I get my hello. So you can load modules directly in and play with them. And you can also save modules as gists, GitHub gists. So there's lots of cool modules people have made. Here's a list of demos that I've made of really cool demos. Examples that people have made using RequireBin. So I'll show some of them. A lot of them use WebGL, and this is a project to put WebGL into Browserify. So you can make graphics with WebGL. So this is WebGL running and using Browserify to compile. So there's lots of cool demos on this page. Like for instance, this website was done. Oh wait, look, I said load. I won't wait for it to load. There's lots of cool examples of WebGL and graphics made with Browserify. So for instance, this is a RequireBin, and zoom out a little bit. Okay, I think the internet is not working right now. Let me try this one. It's okay. Oh, here it's downloading. So this is this program. It does require Bunny, which is the Stanford Bunny 3D model. It's just like a famous 3D model. Looks like this. And on NPM, someone put the Bunny on NPM. So you can NPM install Bunny, and you get the Bunny as the data for the Bunny to render it. So this passes the bunny to a WebGL viewer. So it's 10 lines of code, and you can create WebGL bunny using Browserify. And then there's also, let me try this one actually. Yeah. So then there's, this one is pretty cool. It's an application to generate avatars for users. So I can put in my name, and it generates me my own avatar. Cool, I can make like a JSDC avatar. So it's like an avatar generation, and all the code is here in required bin, and it uses some modules from NPM and implements the avatar widget. And then this is a application to make Sudoku using Browserify. This is a very good example of a Browserify application. It has a good README, so it says how to run it, how to build the static site, how to run the tests, and then also explanations of how the app is set up, and then all the modules that are used. So it uses Browserify, and then it uses some transforms. So it uses CSSify transform, which lets you do require but for CSS style sheets. And then there's also Jadify for Jade templates. So you can use Jade templates with Browserify. And then also Uglify, which minifies the code. And Browserify, you can use Uglify to automatically minify your Browserify code. Lots of many files. So this application is, if you look at app, and you look at index, or Sudoku, I think actually. So the Sudoku application requires the lid folder, and also requires a J template. So because of Jadify, this turns into HTML and gets compiled into a template when you require it. So you don't have to run Jade on the command line, you can just use the Jadify template. And then also the lid folder is required, and the lid folder does things like require Lodash, and it requires JSON data. So this is a good example application, and it looks like this when you run it. So this is the application. It generates a random Sudoku board, so every time you refresh, it makes you Sudoku, and you can try to do Sudoku. I'm very bad at Sudoku. And then there's also these applications. So these are development tools that you can use with Browserify. So the first one is called Beefy, and Beefy is a development server. So it'll automatically run Browserify for you. So I'm using Beefy here, but I will. So if I have a file, my hello.js, and I want to say require hello JSDC, and then console log. I can say beefy hello.js, and it starts a server. And then when I go to the server, it automatically runs my code in Browserify. It's both a static file server, and also if you request hello.js, it will run Browserify hello.js and serve that. So every time you refresh, you get a newest version of the code. So it'll Browserify your code every time you refresh. So you can go to hello world, and then refresh, and you'll get the newest one. So you don't have to run Browserify hello every single time. It's just an automatic server. And then Watchify is file watcher that runs Browserify when you edit files. So you can say Watchify hello.js, and then you can save it as a bundle. So every time you edit this console log, another console log, then it runs Browserify. Oh yeah, I have to run post mode. So if I save, go back, then it writes a new one. If I console log again, then it'll write a new one. So it's a file watcher, automatic file watcher. And that's npm install Watchify. And then there's also for testing, if you want to write tests that run in the browser and in Node.js and share the same test suite in both places, you can use tape. So I'll go to my hello JSDC, and I'll say npm install save dev tape, and that'll save tape to my dev dependencies, which looks like this. So dev dependencies only get installed for developers to run the tests. And then I can make a test.js file and say var tape equals require tape, and say tape tests that the module does not crash. And I'll make a new test. And then I'll just say require var hello equals require, and say t.equal hello is hello, and then t.end. And then I have a little test suite, so I can run npm tests. I'll say node test.js for my test script. Then I'll say npm test, and it will run my test suite. So I have a little test suite. If I change my code to say goodbye, then the test suite will fail. It will tell me what line it failed on. So the cool part, this is running in Node.js, but you can also browserify the test suite. So you can say browserify test.js, or actually I'll do beefy test.js. And then to run the test suite in the browser, it just runs it here. So you can run the test suite directly in the browser and test that the browser, the code works the same in Node and the browser. And then, let's see. There's Testling CI I mentioned earlier. There's a tool for using Testling CI from Node.js. And then oh, this is too small. So, sorry, small screen. There are some servers for running your, let me try to find it. It's kind of hard to read. I'll just click on them. These are servers that run Browserify for you. So one of them is wizard.in, and I mentioned this earlier, and it basically runs Browserify as the HTTP server. But there's also other options: cdn.js, jspm.io, jsdeliver, and normalize.github.io. These are all different options for loading. They're module loaders, so they load modules into the browser. But this is really cool. Let me refresh here. Let me go to. So this is the first time this works. Matthias wrote this last night. So with this, let me find it actually. I have to find the application. It's open in one of these tabs. one second. Too many tabs. Oh, I closed it. Okay, here we go. So this is really cool. So this installs Browserify into your browser. So I have installed Browserify. This is going to sound complicated. First, you Browserify. Now I have my browser has Browserify, so I can say var unique equals require unique, and I can say console log unique and pass it an array 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3. So cross my fingers. If I hit Browserify, directly from the browser, this will install the unique module from npm. No server installed, no server required at all. And it actually installed into a virtual file system on IndexedDB. So I mentioned this module a minute ago. This will let you have a file system in the browser. So you can run any Node.js code that uses FS, the FS module. You can run it directly in the browser on top of LevelDB. Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay, cool. So this is really cool because you get a full file system in the browser, and it installs from npm directly. So you can Browserify directly in the browser. This is a pretty cool way of getting required into the browser. And there's also ways to do CSS, but I'm out of time, so thank you very much. if you have any cat cafes in Taipei that you like, you should email them to me with Google Maps links, and I'll go to them and take pictures. And thank you very much. Bye.
Okay, thank you, ironic view. I mean Max. Yeah. 那我们再给 Max 一次热烈的掌声。那接下来
我们下一场呢会是分成2个会议厅，那我们现在有10分钟的 point。那请在这一场我们接下来会有云峰先生的演讲，那请云峰先生可否到前方跟我们的工作人员同事这边。那现在我们有10分钟的休息时间，大家可以稍作休息。那希望等下10分钟后在各个会议厅可以选择你喜欢的演讲，谢谢。